Isabella, good afternoon.
Thank you, too.
Can you just keep your voice up because you're very soft-spoken? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Isabella, how old are you today?
I'm 20 years old.
Okay. And do you go to school?
Yes.
Where do you go to school?
I go to Lehigh University in Pennsylvania.
Okay. And what are you currently studying?
Marketing or business.
And I'm sorry?
Sorry, I said business.
Okay.
generally.
And are you working for the summer?
I have a summer internship
And where do you work?
in Ridgefield.
Okay. And do you know why you're here today?
Yes.
And prior to today, have you and I met regarding this case?
Yes.
And are you nervous to be here today?
A little bit.
Okay. So I want to direct your attention to May 14th of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you back then?
Sorry, say the year again.
May 14th of 2022?
2022. I was 3 years ago, so 17.
Okay. And were you in school?
St. Joe's.
Okay. And what year in school were you at St. Joe's?
I was a junior in high school. Mm-hmm.
And are you familiar with an individual by the name of Jack Snyder?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with Jack Snyder?
We were classmates.
At St. Joe's?
Yeah.
And are you familiar with an individual by the name of Tyler DeSilva?
Yes.
And how are you familiar with Tyler DeSilva?
Same thing, we were classmates.
And are you familiar with an individual by the name of Raul Valle?
Yeah.
And how are you familiar with Raul Valle?
Classmates as well.
And does Raul have a nickname?
Lido.
Lido?
Mm-hmm.
And is Raul present in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And can you please describe what he's wearing?
He's wearing a black jacket and a tie.
And can you please point him out for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Oh, yeah.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
All right, court will allow the record to so reflect.
Now, I want to direct your attention to May 14th of 2022. Were you invited to a party on 5 Lazy Brook Road?
Yes.
And what was the circumstances surrounding you going to 5 Lazy Brook Road?
I was invited. My lacrosse team was going there, and Maddie Leifer had invited us, and we all hung out there. And that was the initial.
Initially, how many people were there?
Initially, I maybe like 15. I'm not quite sure, to be honest.
And this was a St. Joe's High School lacrosse party?
Yeah, she just had her lacrosse team over and some of her friends.
Okay. And at some point in time, did other people show up to the party?
Yes.
Who showed up to the party?
Other people that went to our school, other friends of Maddie, and yeah, other kids just started showing up. I don't know exactly who was, yeah.
At some point in time, did the defendant show up to the party?
Yes.
Did Jack Snyder show up to the party?
Yes.
Did Tyler DeSilva show up to the party?
Yes.
Were they invited to the party?
Objection, Your Honor.
Hold on, just don't answer that basis.
It's going to call for hearsay, opinion, and facts not in evidence.
If she knows.
All right, well, why don't we preface it with laying the right foundation then? So I will go ahead and sustain the objection.
Do you recall who was invited to the party?
Initially?
Initially.
Objection, Your Honor. It calls for the same thing.
It does. I'll sustain the objection. Counsel, you may rephrase your question.
So with regards to this party, what was your understanding about who was attending the party?
I know my lacrosse team was invited, and I know that she maybe had invited some other kids from our school.
Okay.
But
And when you say other kids being like who? What kind of kids were invited?
friends
Objection,
of
Your Honor, if she knows.
Maddie Leifer
I'll
from my
allow it
school.
overruled. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I know that you don't know this.
Yeah.
If there's an objection pending, I'm just going to ask you to wait until I make a ruling until you continue speaking, okay? But you're okay. I know
Sorry.
you've not done this before as far as I know.
Yeah.
So but just let me ask you to do that for me, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, you may continue.
So again, do you recall who initially was at the party?
Yeah, my lacrosse team was, and some of her friends from St. Joe's were there. That's all I recall.
Was it the girls' lacrosse team?
Girls lacrosse, yeah.
Were there any males at the party?
Friends of hers, yeah.
And at some point, how many people would you say were at the party initially?
Initially, maybe like 15 or 20, but I'm not exactly sure, to be honest.
And do you recall whether or not at some point in time the party got bigger?
I recall it getting bigger. I don't know how soon it was, but it did get bigger.
And what time would you say you got to the Lifer's house?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
And when you got there, what kind of things were going on at the party?
We were all just gathered, all saying hi, talking. There was drinking.
There was?
Yeah.
Now, when you say there was drinking, what kind of drinking was going on?
I just know people were drinking, like, casually, nothing too crazy.
Okay. Do you know whether or not people brought their own stuff, or was it being provided by?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And at some point in time, did people who were not initially invited to the party show up?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm going to call for hearsay. It's going to call for opinion.
I'm not asking one, somebody else.
All right.
It's not an evidence.
Hold on. I am going to sustain the objection, counsel. The evidence is not in that she knows who was invited to the party. So I'll sustain the objection.
Well, she testified, Your Honor, that the lacrosse team was invited to the party and some other friends.
But she again, I'm sustaining the objection.
Do you recall whether or not the other friends that were invited to the party included the defendant?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The other friends that were invited to the party, did that include the defendant?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
And did that include Jack Snyder?
Not that I'm aware
And
of.
did that include Tyler De Silva?
Not that I'm aware of.
Now, at some point in time, did the defendant show up to the party?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you recall what time that was?
I'm not sure.
When he got to the party, do you recall who he was with?
I'm pretty sure he came with Jack and Tyler.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 53. You recognize State's 53?
Yeah.
And what is State's 53?
Like, who are they?
Yeah.
Lito's on the right and Jack's on the left.
And do you know where this picture was taken?
In her basement?
In the basement of the Lifer's house?
Yes.
Now, do you recall the defendant wearing a helmet that night?
Yes.
And the neck pillow as well?
Yeah.
At what point did the defendant come to the party like that?
Not that I recall, but I don't remember.
At some point in time, withdrawn. How long were you at the party before the defendant and his friend showed up?
It's hard to remember, if I'm being honest. Maybe an hour, but I'm also not sure.
And at some point in time, did the party get too big?
Yeah.
And do you have any knowledge as to whether or not people were asked to leave?
Yes, people were asked to leave.
Do you know in particular who was asked to leave?
I think she just wanted everyone out.
Okay. And at some point in time, do you recall whether or not two individuals that were not associated with St. Joe's High School showed up?
I remember I heard about it, and yeah, I recall people showed up at the party.
And when they showed up to the party, was there any type of altercation that you witnessed at the party?
Yes.
And what did you witness at the party?
There was a fight that broke out outside.
And do you know who was involved in that fight?
I know that Jack, Tyler, and Lito were involved in it, and kids outside of St. Joe's. I don't know who those kids are, but
And what do you remember seeing about that fight?
it was outside, and they were just fighting.
And when you saw that fight, did you do anything just prior to witnessing that fight?
I started videoing the fight.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 58 for identification. Do you recognize 58?
Yes.
And what is State's 58?
The video that I took.
And is this video that you took from the night of May 14th of 2022 at Lazy Brook?
Yes.
And have you viewed this video prior to today's testimony?
Yes.
And does this USB drive contain the original video that you took from that fight?
Yes.
And does it also contain a video that has been lightened up of the same video?
Yes.
Has that been changed in any way other than it being lightened up?
No.
And does it also contain a slow motion version of the same video that's also lightened up?
Yes.
And aside from it being slow motion and lightened up, is it changed in any way from the original video?
No.
Your Honor, the state would offer this as a full exhibit.
Attorney Smith?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, court will go ahead and accept the exhibit into evidence as a full exhibit.
Wish to publish to the jury, Your Honor.
Certainly, thank you.
We're going to watch the 3 videos together. Thank you.
Mhm.
Now, that first video, was that the original video you took of the fight that occurred at Lazy Brook Road?
Yes.
Okay. Wait a second. Was that the lightened up version of the same video?
Yes.
Can you go to frame 90? You see the slow motion version has frames on the bottom. Okay? We're at frame 90 on State's Exhibit 58, the slow motion version. I'm going to ask you, can I have that pointer? Can you tell me, do you know who this individual is right here to the left?
Tyler?
Tyler De Silva?
Yes.
Do you know who this individual is here in the center with the dark
Are you
pants
able-
and the helmet?
Are you able to see the pointing?
Can't see the pointing, Your Honor, but I can see the video and I'm fairly clear who
alright.
it is he's pointing.
Yes.
Who
That's
is that?
Leto.
That's Leto, the defendant?
Yes.
And who is this in the red sweatshirt here?
That's Jack.
And the kid in the green sweatshirt, do you know who that is?
No, I don't know who that is.
Is that one of the Shelton kids that came?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. At some point in time, were you asked to be interviewed by the police department with regards to this case?
Yes.
And when you were interviewed with the police department, did you provide this video of this fight?
Yes.
And outside of that, once this fight was over, what happened at the Lifers' house?
After this, everyone parted ways and left. Yeah. Everyone went home. I went home.
You went home?
Yeah.
Okay. And with regards to the drinking that was going on in the house, was everybody drinking that night?
I'd say a good amount of people were.
Yeah. Okay. And did you have anything to drink that night?
Yeah.
Okay. How much would you say you drank that night?
I don't remember.
Okay. Were you drunk?
Maybe a little bit. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't remember.
But do you remember this fight?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Cross?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Molnar.
Good afternoon.
I'm just going to go over with you what you've testified to here, okay? You said that initially there were about 15 to 20 people that were at the party, correct?
Yes.
And those were all St. Joe's kids, is that correct?
I think it was mainly St. Joe's kids. I can't confirm that it was only St. Joe's, but from my understanding it was.
Do you recall seeing anybody else that you didn't recognize other than when the two kids from Shelton High arrived?
I remember Maddie's boyfriend was there at the time. I think it was mainly all St. Joe's kids who else were there, but that's to my understanding.
And you said most of the people there were drinking, right?
As I remember, yes.
And all of those people that were drinking were all underage, is that correct?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay. Because you didn't see any adults there, is that correct?
No.
And this home where you were partying, the party part took place downstairs in the basement? And again, you didn't see any adults down there, is that correct?
No.
And you told us that some folks were bringing alcohol with them, correct?
Bringing alcohol? I think maybe some people, I'm not sure where people had alcohol or where they got it from, but people were drinking.
Did you see anybody coming down from upstairs in the home with alcohol?
With alcohol? I know people were using the bathroom upstairs, so some people were going upstairs and then coming back down.
Did you see any adults providing alcohol?
I didn't see any adults providing alcohol.
And you didn't see any adults in the basement, is that correct?
At the end of the party, her mom told us to all leave, but that was it.
You didn't know either of these two Shelton High kids who showed up?
No, I'm not sure.
And you started to record this because you thought what was going to happen?
It was kind of just out of impulse, I think. Yeah, I think I just reacted.
And you shared that video with the police when you talked to them on June 1st, correct? But between May 14th and June 1st, you didn't share that with any police officers, did you?
Not the ones, other than the ones I showed.
On June 1st?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And so you weren't recording it at that point to preserve it as evidence to show somebody,
No.
right? And you didn't know if Mr. De Silva was coming over to try and break it up or if he was part of the fight, right?
No, it all just kind of happened really fast, and yeah.
And at some point they sort of collapsed onto the ground on the other side of a vehicle, right? And you couldn't see what was going on at that point, could you?
I think it looks at one point like Lito or somebody smacks someone with their fist, but I couldn't really see much other than the video.
And you saw Mr. Valle was wearing a motorcycle helmet, correct?
Yes.
And you saw him in the picture there. He also had on a pillow, correct? And they were playing some form of beer pong downstairs. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
And there was no fighting going on in the basement. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
None of the kids down there were fighting or making threats towards one another before
No.
the Shelton High kids showed up.
Not that I remember.
And in fact, Mr. Valle, you thought wearing the neck pillow and the helmet was trying to be funny?
Objection is to, well, withdrawn.
You can answer. Thank you.
I don't know why. I'm not sure why he was wearing it.
You told officers when they interviewed you that you thought he was trying to be funny, correct?
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
You didn't think that he was wearing that because he was looking to get into a fight, did you?
I'm going to object based on what she thought he thought or what he was doing. That's
He is asking what she thought, and
what she thought he was doing.
she already answered about a statement she made to the police attorney, Dursa, so I'll allow it. Thank you.
I'm sorry about why he was wearing it.
Right, you didn't think that he was doing that so that he was getting ready to go for a fight, did you?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
And then you said that after the fight, very quickly, Mrs. Leifer came out of the house and told everybody to go, right?
Yeah.
And that was the last time that you saw Mr. Valle that evening?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you.
Nothing further from Ms. Lear.
Thank you. You're all set. You can exit the witness box. Please watch your step.
Thank you.
Thank you.